us from our ancient slumber. You will die! I feel this before you. One by one we will take you.
This kind of looks like your old girlfriend.
What is up, Evil Dead fans? In this video, we're going to talk about my hat. As you can tell, it is different. I got it from Hungry Horse, Montana at the House of Mystery. If you're ever in that area, around Kalispell and Whitefish, definitely go there, check it out. It's pretty cool. No, seriously, we're going to talk about the dagger. Now, this build really happened fast. It literally just 2 weeks I had it done. And it really helped researching the Evil Dead 2 dagger at the time last year to know what I needed to put into that dagger versus what needed to happen with like just an Evil Dead 1 dagger. When it comes to the paint, you can see a lot of reds in there. And that basically stems from the scene whenever it's on the floor after Cheryl bites her hand off. I wanted something like that. I didn't want to get too gloopy and bloody with it because I'm not a big fan of like sticking blood on stuff. Still to this day, when it comes to chainsaws, the one guy who does the blood the best is Nick Valenza. He does it right. There's a few other people who do it as well. But for me, when I see people stick blood on stuff, or fake blood, it kind of tells me they're trying to cover something up or they think something's missing, and I'm not a fan of it, unless it's when Nick does it. Nick does it right. A few other people, like I said, do it right as well, but I wanted to make it like it was bloody. Had that blood on there, so you see a lot on that foot and a lot on this red on this bone and red on that bone and on this hand down here. So that derives from that scene when it's on the floor when Cheryl bites her hand off. One thing that I did add the teeth, and let's take a closer look. So the one thing that I noticed on this side is it kind of comes up in a row. So you got 3 right here, and then you got another one back here. And that's from the scene when Scotty's turning it back and forth. The rest of the time in the original Evil Dead, the teeth are gone. They're broken off, they're busted up. And over here, you have like a group of 4 right there. And this one I had the hand sculpted, put this huge flare on it. You can see that flare on it right there in the back. So I had to do that. A lot of people are gonna wonder about the back right here. The back right here, there's a scene where it shows the teeth, and there's one that looks like it has a spine on it as well. There was 2 daggers in Evil Dead 1, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So let's go up further on the head. And you can see right there, this is from the scene when Cheryl's, hand that's missing from her body is holding it. This is a kit piece. So these are on here that are proper. The ones on the bottom. And you got this curled one over here. And that's what happens with these things when you try to heat this plastic from the kits. They really melt super fast. So let's go to the top. You can see the melted look right there. And on the other side. When it comes to Evil Dead 1, there's a lot of different things you can do because there's a lot of repairs, a lot of breaks, things like that. And there's so many different views to look at, and you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do. So the one thing I can tell you though is that back spine was never full. It was never one whole thing where all the little ribs were on there. So if you're making Evil Dead 1 dagger and you have all the little ribs on this back spine piece, it doesn't exist anywhere in the film, or even pre-production, because I have some pre-production photos. Next thing is we're going to talk about the top rib cage. There is options out there that you can do. Let's look at this side right here. This is from the view of when Cheryl's decapitated hand is holding it. You can see you got every one of them there. This one's broke, but this end's stuck on. And they're all melted to give that creepy look, because he did use heat. If you look at the scene when Scotty's holding it, you can see back here, there's a spine piece that has this big, like, melted round end. So he did use heat for that. A guy named Andrew on the Ghost Beaters was telling me an easy way to do this is to use hot water to form things, and that is a phenomenal and fantastic concept that I didn't even grasp at the time. And I'm like, wow, I could have just done that and then modified things, but I went the old school way and used a lighter and heated it up, which is, it's a big pain in the ass. It's not easy to do. So one thing I had to do was actually fill the whole hit out so I could heat it up, this top one, ribcage, and fit it properly. So doing the water technique, the hot water technique, will be way easier to do, but you'll have to modify each rib to be correct if you want. It just depends on how accurate you want to get it. One thing you're going to notice on this side, you're going to notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ribs on that side. That is proper to the film. There's multiple scenes of that, and let me show you a few options that you have on your Evil Dead 1 dagger build. Okay, so we got the dagger right here. Like I said, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the scene where the dagger is spitting blood, that is a different dagger. That is not the same. These are turned backwards. These bones right here, these little side bones, little drumsticks, are actually longer and turned backwards. You can see that. A lot of that scene when Scotty's fighting Cheryl was filmed later. You can watch the behind the scenes and they will talk about that, the reshoots and stuff. One thing that you might want to know is on that one that is spitting blood, it is the entire rib cage. And this is where that water technique of hot water works out well, because all you have to do is have the whole thing and just heat it up with water and just push it in a bit. You want to make sure that the top head that you're building on your dagger is done. So you just heat it up with hot water and just hold it. Once it's hot, just hold it with your hand, the form of the head. So you can have the whole thing if you're going with that look. With that same look, you won't have this top piece right here. You're gonna have this giant, like, huge turban thing. So you can go with that. You can see inside, you can see all the proper bones are inside. And there is a centerpiece in that one that's spitting blood that's not in the kits. I don't know if Tom found something from a different kit at some point or if he sculpted that, do not know. But that is specific to the one that spits blood. Another thing you can do, and this is the pre-production look. Now I have a photo of Tom Sullivan working on the set of Evil Dead 1, and he's painting something else up and the dagger's in the background. What it is, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 ribs. The 5th one's missing, and then the other part is over here. So if you were gonna do it that way, which it's a really cool look, and I thought about that, but I'm like, you never see that on film. You see a lot of other things. You see the one where when you got 5 to the side, especially when Ash is fighting Linda. If you really slow that down, you can catch that. So let's look at that side. So you'd have, if you want to go with that pre-production look, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You cut off this 5th one right up here. Take that out and you leave this. But you have to heat it up to get the proper look, and you have to trim down these right here. You have to do that. So, but this is sealed up with a satin paint. This is just a Rust-Oleum satin. The thing is, I do suggest not to use is the Rust-Oleum 2X coat, because their matte finish on the 2X coat and their satin and stuff always looks super, super glossy. So go with the normal stuff that they provide. So let's take a closer look right here. I really, really like this. And the nice thing is, I didn't have to attach this because it is just hanging on the sides, as you can see. It's formed to the head. And I had it formed to it, so I could actually just sit it on there if I wanted to, and just take it off. I could have had multiple rib cages and do that. But you can see right here, there's another bone that comes through right there. Same thing on the other edge. You can kind of see it through the rib cage. And I really, really dig this. One thing that I did do is I really embellished on the eyebrows at one point. And when I was coming to the paint part of the front of the face, I was like, that is way too drastic. So I sanded all that, not all of it, but most of it back down, and then reworked the cheeks so I could get a nice look, because there was a little bit of sculpting on that scene when Scotty's holding the dagger. The paint colors that I used, basically kind of the same thing from Evil Dead 2. I didn't paint a lot of the real bones. I did paint them, but basically what I did is use a teddy bear brown tan, or teddy bear tan. Yeah, that's it. And it kind of turns it a little bit greenish. And I used that, I put it on there, then I'd wet down my brush, and then I would put it all on there, and it would get that kind of brownish, yellowish look with the real bones. Because the fake bones, you want to get them a little yellowish. And, you know, that whole step. If you're on the Ghost Speeders on Facebook, I did a few videos over there kind of explaining how I did a lot of this stuff. So if I'm doing a project like this, a lot of times what I do is I give that Facebook page a lot of behind the scenes looks and stuff that I won't talk about on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, join the Ghost Speeders Facebook page. And you can see right here, we have a rib bone right here, real rib bones from chicken bones. And then over here, but it just, this thing's awesome. One thing is, talking about the blade, you can see the imperfections in the metal down here. I really like that because it kind of gives it an old rustic look. You can see that. It is pretty sharp. It's not super sharp, but it is sharp. And I actually have a set of real daggers and show you the size and see if it is correct to a real dagger size. So right here we have a dagger. This is considered a dagger. It's double-sided. It's the proper length for a dagger. Now let's put it up with the Evil Dead 1 dagger blade. See if it's the same size. That one's down here. This one's about just a little over the 1/8 of an inch shorter, somewhere around there. I'm not gonna measure that out. So let's put it up together. You can see just about the same. So this is a dagger length. I know some people are gonna go, man, that son of a bitch is long. No, it's the size of a dagger. So, and I didn't even use that off of measurements. It was just the way it worked, luckily. One thing I'm really happy with before we finish this up is the look up here. I really like that look. Really do. Right in the face. Really looks good. Turtle dick again, right there. You got the back side, and you got the back. It's got a bit of a butt on it. That's how it's supposed to be. And then right there. So it's really cool. Really like it. And so I can't just have this laying around. So you know what's next? The new custom stand that's completely different from the Evil Dead 2 stand that I built. This one is gonna be gnarly. Some people know exactly kind of what I'm gonna do, but I have an idea and I think it's gonna blow that one out of the water, honestly. It's gonna be different, it's gonna be really cool, and I'm super excited. So if you're building one of these, hopefully this video helped you out. If you have any questions, just let me know. One thing I won't do is measure out every single bone here. The way you figure out the size of bones is you buy the kit first, then you compare it. So best thing you do is buy chicken from different places, and you're gonna eat a lot of it, and do the comparison in size, and you can get really, really close that way on the size. So let's look at this again, and there you go. Until next time, you guys stay groovy.